So it being 5:30 on February 10th, 2025, I'm going to call the Board of Selectmen meeting to order. Charlie Bozello,
Is here.
Chris,
Present.
Ann,
Here.
Megan,
Here.
and Andy's here. First item on the agenda is to approve the minutes of 6 January.
I just reviewed and I make a motion to approve the minutes from January 6th.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from January 6th. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Approval of the minutes for January 27th.
Oh, I fixed your front page, so you all have a new front page.
Ah,
Yeah.
there's a G and an H in the agenda too. We have two agendas.
Yeah,
No worries.
H has been replaced.
H is.
Yeah, been replaced. Yeah. We're all set.
So I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes for January 27th.
Second.
I have a motion, a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. First item under new business, meeting with the assessor.
I got a copy.
Oh, thank you. Pass these around. I brought some of the ratio study information. I'm gonna pass these around.
Hate this page.
Sorry, sorry. With this one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So the sheet that the Department of Revenue is asking you to sign is what they call the pink sheet, is the data certificate, which basically says that you guys have looked at your ratio study. This is the form that I sent, that comes from the Department of Revenue. And that's basically just saying that you've looked at your ratio study. So the ratio study, for those of you that don't know, every year the Department of Revenue requires each municipality to do a ratio study, which is a comparison of the arm's length transaction sales to the assessed values to kind of see how things are holding up. So every town right now is struggling a little bit because the sale prices are increasing so crazy and so fast. But so, in looking at the study that they sent, or the little chart that they sent, which is not a really easy chart to read, they have a new system coming out, so I'm hoping that they're going to be a little bit easier to read. I highlighted yours in yellow, so if you look down at AA on the ratio study, that will be any and all. And if you follow that to the second column over, which is the median ratio, that's 85.62. So that's basically saying that you're about 15% under assessed from your last revaluation. And so that's what they want to make sure that you're aware of, that you know what's happening in your community. A lot of the assessors do the ratio studies. It's not usually a town employee that does it, so they just want to make sure that you guys are all aware of what's happening.
So new pricing is 15% ahead of when they did the
Yeah.
assessment.
Yep, and so I also attached in here, or included in here, statistics from New Hampshire Association of Realtors. And the bottom section on there is just Grafton County. And so in 2024, they're saying that the median sale price, that's the one highlighted in yellow, is $430,251. In 2023, when you had your revaluation, it was $400. So it's increased up 7.6%, even though the number of sales are down the prices are still climbing. And so that can show you, if you look at like 2019, at the last revaluation, your sale prices were around 227 on average, was your average house in town. Now they're selling for 430.
Jeez.
So it just keeps climbing and climbing and climbing. So it will push your ratio down. That's, happening in every town. As soon as you're out of your reval cycle, it's heading down. So I'm hoping that we'll see some slowing up. First quarter of 2025 was median sale price was 409. So that's about 4.7% down. So hopefully things start to come back.
That reassessment happens again in, when, 2028?
Yes, every 5 years. So hopefully things are somewhat better by then.
So DRA sends this out just as kind of like an FYI, there's nothing the town can or should do, is that right?
Well, they want to make sure you know what your statistics are. So their ratio, they say that the ratio should be between 90 and 110. And
Okay.
that's more in a normal circumstance.
Yep.
Since 2019, since COVID, we really haven't seen much of that. Things just went off the charts crazy. So they used to say if you fell outside of that, start thinking about doing your revaluation a little sooner than 5 years.
Okay,
But now they're not really saying that because everybody's outside the ratio.
so 85% realistically, not
For
abnormal.
2 years out is not abnormal.
Okay.
right now. It also looks at things and compares, like how are your how's your ratio on your lower valued properties compared to your higher valued properties? That's on page 2 of the chart. And so there's a little section at the bottom that says, they're checking for these few things. They want to make sure your median ratio is good, your PRD is good, your COD, they want to see that under 20. So that's the one that checks to see how your properties are holding up from the median. If the median sale price is 430, how are things holding up around that? And then the PRD is going to be, to see if your lower valued properties, if their ratio is consistent with something that's high valued. Which everything meets except for, of course, you're at 85, so that's the only thing that's not within the range, their acceptable range right now.
What do those acronyms stand for, COD, PRD?
So that's a coefficient of dispersion, is
Okay.
the COD,
Yep.
and the PRD is price-related difference.
Okay.
Coefficient of dispersion, coefficient of differences, is that statistically the same?
Yeah, from the median,
Deviation,
yeah,
right.
yeah, from the median. And so they also sent out, I give you a copy of this too, this is a letter that's gonna come from Department of Revenue, that this is their official letter saying what your ratio is, but they're not gonna release this until the signed paperwork gets in. So,
So do we know where we fall in that normal curve distribution compared to others?
compared to other communities
We're
around you.
15% over. How does that compare to other communities on average?
So it depends on where other communities were in the reval cycle, so it's hard to compare you to a town like Bristol, they're 5
Because
years
there's
out.
different number of years.
Right, so that would be hard to compare, but I can find out where you fall with other towns that were done in 2023.
Yeah, I would think that's an important piece of information.
Yeah, and it's gonna depend on your community too. If you're down on the seacoast, their ratios are probably falling a lot faster. Their properties are selling for higher. I noticed the ratios in like even Woodstock and Lincoln, those are a little bit worse off than what you would be here because they're at the ski areas and people are really looking to get in there, so they're paying crazy
So
amounts of
their
money.
prices are escalating faster there.
Yeah, yep. And sadly, with the prices going up and when they raised the interest rates, it really forced people, if you were shopping in the $300,000 market, it might have pushed you down to $225,000 to $250,000 because that's what you could afford now with that same mortgage price, which pushed the person looking at $225,000 to under $200,000, which is going after your mobile homes and your, single family little tiny homes. Your starter homes, elderly homes.
Yeah, well, it's interesting that these large increases occur at the same time that interest rates were elevated.
Well, I think they thought that when the housing market went crazy, I think their theory was that we raise the raise the interest rates, that maybe we'll slow the prices. But a lot of people are buying with cash, so they don't really care.
Right.
It's, the interest rate could be 90% and they don't
Yeah, yeah.
care.
So
It's the
affect them.
everyday person like us that has to take out a mortgage that they really ended up,
Yeah, we pay
Right.
for it all.
yeah.
Okay,
So that really kind
thank you for that.
of put the kibosh on us. And the elderly people, it's hard. A lot of them are having a hard time affording and
Yeah,
I'm sure you've seen it
yeah,
here a lot.
we know the story. It's not getting better yet.
And it's in every community, it's not just yours. And
So what, is there a bottom line conclusion to this? I mean, that you would, you know, after looking at these numbers, you know, we're okay? Is that the bottom line
Yeah.
conclusion?
Yeah,
Conclusion?
and it's gonna, you know, we'll wait and see what next year's sales bring. This is done every year from October 1st to September 30th is the study period. So, you know, next year we'll see what's happening, but if they keep increasing, then it's not gonna, it's just, yours is just gonna keep dropping. Everybody's will keep dropping.
Yeah.
We did Campton this year, they were out 5 years, the ratio was 43. Okay, really. They had a few new developments in there, little subdivisions, and they went crazy. And that's the other thing that can kind of mess with your ratio study a little bit too, is if you have a small sample and you have one sale
Yeah,
that's out of whack.
the ratio is an outlier.
If it's too high or too low,
Just an
yeah.
outlier.
And we try to kick those out, but, you know, Department of Revenue now is saying that they're not really outliers anymore. Which is hard. We try to kick them out, but
Well, where do you get your direction from in terms of the procedures for analysis? I mean, who's determining whether it's an outlier or not?
So we go through, so they, in the Department of Revenue Equalization Portal, they bring in all the sales from the registry. And so they will knock out those that were like bank sales, and, you know, we'll try to take some out that we know were, you know, some sort of distressed sale, a family sale. And we're left with just the average sales, and we'll go through them. I'll look on the MLS. Okay, this one was on the market 0 days, you know, and it sold for $50,000 or $60,000 more than, you know, other ones around it. So I'll try to say that one was an outlier, but then they'll review them and say, no, not really. Or they might agree with that, you know, depending on how bad the ratio is compared to the assessment. And then we have some where somebody might have renovated, you know, we don't really know. If we don't know, you know, we look at the MLS as we go through these, which helps
So,
us find.
the sale price might be related to other factors other than
Right,
just
to renovations
appreciation.
that the town didn't know about. If there was no permit filed, you guys didn't ask us to go look at it. So we, you know, kept some of that stuff during that process too. So we'll mark those as invalid and ask them to disqualify those sales and say, you know, this had renovations that the town didn't know about, so not really fair to include that.
Fair.
Because that makes the ratio really bad.
Yeah.
So.
So our tax rate, though, is not really affected. I mean, we have our tax rate based on the 2023 reevaluation. So it's still, you know, for our tax purposes, the tax rate is in relationship to that valuation.
Correct.
So, I mean, there's no loss to the town or anything from
No, the only
taxation
thing
or
that will
whatnot.
change is every year your current use, properties get adjusted by your ratio. So the lower the ratio goes, the lower their rate goes. They're already paying a lower rate, but it gets brought down.
Right.
And then however this affects you, you know, when you're working with other towns, I don't know how all that works as far as what your, you know, value is for the community and how that affects what the state gives you for funding and those sorts of things, but that's another way that it can affect you.
Do you need us to sign this? Or is there something we
You
have
can
to
sign it now, or you can sign it and scan it. If you want to scan it to me, I can upload it to the portal for you.
Okay.
Yeah, so you don't have to do it right now. You have a copy, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
okay,
we all got
alright.
copies.
Alright.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
they do have an equalization manual in the system. I can download that and send it to you guys if you wanna go through it. It's like 100 pages, but a
Do
lot
you
of
have
it has
condensed version?
definitions. and-
Is there a condensed version?
Well, there are different sections that you can look at, but, and like I said, if you have taxpayers that are questioning, you know, the rate and values or the raising and valuation too, you can refer back to the sheet of the association, the Hampshire Association of Realtors, and just say, you know, this is what, the bottom section again is Grafton County, so that's, you know, what's happening in this area. It's hard for some people to fathom it. Sometimes we look at the sales and we can't even believe them, but you're a little bit less than the general state, like the overall for the state, the median home sale price is $514, and you're at $430.
So the value's doubled in 5 years.
Yeah,
That's serious.
isn't that crazy? It really is, until you start to look at it in this little scale right here, and you look at that, you're like, wow, that's insane.
Thank you.
You have any other questions? No, that's it?
Appreciate the explanation.
All right.
Thank you.
Nice to see you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda, letter of intent 2025 hazardous household waste collection program.
Red?
Do you want to do these, pass that around and sign it? That's what you just finished talking
Yeah.
about, yeah.
Yeah, we can do that while we're doing this.
Okay.
You can chat about this.
All right, we belong to a household waste district, and they are planning on having a hazardous waste collection program in 2025, and they would like us to sign this form for the town where the chairman and the selectmen saying that we will participate. In the past, they have held some of those collections here. Don't know where they're gonna hold them yet, depends on who signs up. But it is a way of keeping hazardous waste out of our landfill that we use and out of the hands of the people who come in to use our solid waste district. So I would encourage the board to sign this and participate in the program so that we don't end up with costs on the other end. If a lot of hazardous waste makes it into a landfill that we use, our cost to close that landfill goes right through the roof. And I've seen several of them just go to the point where towns could not afford to pay them over a short period of time, so.
What's the definition of hazardous waste when it comes to this?
Anything that the EPA has on their list, and that's quite a long list.
So, I mean, it's not just paints, but it's all
It's
kinds
oils and all kinds of
of
other
caustic
things, yeah.
things and
Yeah,
chlorine,
it's,
Varnish,
yeah,
that kind of stuff.
acids. Yep.
Yeah. Batteries, you name it, there's something in every category.
So why wouldn't we participate in this?
Actually, there are towns who don't want to participate, and I have no idea why.
It does cost money, right?
It does, it's in the district budget. So it's not that it's going to increase our costs in the district, because it's already there.
Okay.
Do you need my signature?
But it is important that we do something with it so that we don't end up with hazardous waste in a landfill that we have to pay for cleaning up later when we close a landfill, or our employees get injured with it if they try to dump it into our regular trash.
And this hazardous waste is remediated by the state process? I mean, there's
The
like,
state contracts vendors from all over the United States, and they
They render it
collect
dirt.
this material, it's farmed out to different receivers, and it's made neutral again.
yeah, inert. Okay.
I make a motion to sign the letter of intent for the 2025 Household Hazardous Waste Collection Program.
Second.
So I have a motion to second to sign the hazardous waste collection program. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries.
I'll hand that to the chairman.
I got one right here.
Okay, all right.
Pleasure.
Good night. Double lap.
Thank you.
Becky, you want to step in here?
Absolutely. So I know you guys have seen some timber tax forms before. So timber tax is people who want to cut trees off their property, then they report it to the state, they report it to me, then I tax them on the amount of trees that they've cut down. There's a similar program called the gravel tax. And we had a gentleman realize that he made a mistake and he dug for gravel, or however, made gravel happen.
He mined gravel.
Perfect. Thank you, Andy. Anyway, but did not submit the proper form for multiple years.
Oh, no.
So he let us know, and he would like to pay the gravel tax for the multiple years that he did not do that. So I just need, there's a box on the bottom for you guys to sign, so you'll have
a handful of sheets to do that with.
Is that like timber tax that goes by, this goes by tonnage, I'm assuming, instead of like
Yeah.
linear feet?
Yeah, and I went with the gravel tax guy from the DRA came and he talked to me about the form and how to handle it properly, and everything is in order.
Okay.
It's nice he came forward.
Yes,
Wow.
What does he owe?
I don't know. I'll find out when I do the things.
Oh, okay.
You just want us to sign, okay. Sorry. I'll get going. Oh, you can't sign it, you can.
I'm not gonna sign it anyway.
No, that's all right, I got Andy's. You're not gonna sign it?
No, that's
No.
all right.
Okay. I'll keep your pen there. Gotcha.
I work for it.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say it was my gravel. It's like, thank you.
Thank you.
Megan, there's a blue pen up there.
Snot's been on it. The flu's going around.
Sanitize and wipe right behind us.
I'll get up in a moment.
It is. I did put them on, but I don't know if I pressed the combination button.
Did you throw the remote at it? That should be good.
How'd you learn to be so efficient with your signature?
Two different ones, one I use for my personal stuff, one I use for work.
Thank you.
Yeah, I do that one with my initials, you know?
Yeah.
Next item on the agenda is proposed MOU, the building inspector agreement to town council for review.
I make a motion to send the MOU for the building inspector to town council for review.
I'll second that.
So I have a motion and a second to send this to town council. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I have a little question. This is just a kind of a memorandum to negotiate in the future. It indicates a price.
No, it's not to negotiate in the future. It's because right now we're utilizing Plymouth's
Right.
building inspector, so this is just a memorandum of understanding. It's not a negotiate in the future thing.
So it's to continue that relationship?
It's just to continue the relationship we currently have.
Okay,
That's all.
and the pricing on that
Is what we're currently,
what's
it should be,
I
actually.
think what we're currently
I think
paying
it's what
is-
we're, no?
No, so this agreement with Plymouth would allow him to essentially be a full-time employee in two different places.
Right.
So we
Yeah.
would pay, right now we pay on an hourly basis and we're two separate employers, right?
Right.
This memorandum, we would pay a straight fee over to Plymouth as our portion of his usage, which would also include like his cell phone, which we do pay for now.
Yeah.
So use of things that he has through Plymouth.
So the pricing is different than what we currently pay because they're gonna assume some overhead?
They're gonna assume the full-time benefits, whereas we're not going to, but we're gonna pay for a portion of
It
those
doesn't say it's
full-time
fixed, though. It says it's still hourly. It says, the fee for this, for building permits, code enforcement services should be an hourly rate of X to include all associated fees, and that says municipality too shall reimburse for fees associated with providing services, including the vehicle, hourly comp, New Hampshire retirement, health insurance, dental insurance, all inclusive in that hourly rate. So it's the same hourly rate. Unless when I read it, I thought that's what they were saying too. Yeah, it just cleans up a lot more of the severability. If we had an issue, it's just an MOU.
Yeah, but it is more than we're currently paying.
No, I don't, no.
It's not more than we're currently paying.
No,
It's just a different way of paying.
It's just a different,
Yeah.
it conforms with the statute.
Okay.
The agreement we have right now is very loose.
yeah, The agreement we have is just kind of like, we'll steal your employee when needed. This is smart for both towns.
Okay. Now that we got that settled.
Yeah, we gotta just,
You all set, Charlie?
Yeah.
So, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
How long is that agreement good for?
it's just the,
Until canceled, I believe.
yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
just the MOU. It
It's
just
30,
gives
says
the
30-day
outline.
cancellation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if the town determines they do need a building inspector of their own, we have no obligation to continue the relationship with the Plymouth.
No. That was always the understanding as well. It was just,
Temporary.
I wouldn't say temporary. I don't think
What
it's
works
enough.
for now?
Yeah, I think it works.
Okay.
Yeah. It's been good.
Next item on the agenda is approval letter to USEPA on draft regulations and increased costs.
Oh, you're
Fred?
on a different one.
Excuse me, the EPA New England Division has issued a new order, and they want to seek to amend our regulations for the wastewater treatment plant and the water department on how we do tests and what we do tests on and what kind of criteria comes out from that test. We don't have the materials to do those tests with in some cases. Some cases, the materials, the tests haven't been perfected. We're objecting to them, including them until such time as they are perfected and they are approved by the National Council of Inspectors and so forth. EPA seems to be jumping the gun here a little bit. They're trying to get ahead of where they should have been 5 years ago, and they weren't. As you perhaps remember, our permit for the management of the wastewater treatment plant and the water department, and our permits for testing and materials that come out of those tests were regulated a number of years ago, and they had one employee that was in charge basically of northern New England. That employee retired. They didn't bother to replace them. Our permit went on amended and unrenewed for quite a number of years. And all of a sudden, bang, they started to renew permits. And now they're starting to look at what they renewed. And they're not sure they renewed the right permits. So we're saying, look, you need to study this, you need to figure out what you're doing, you need to figure out how you're doing it, and you need to share in these expenses to some degree. So we're objecting to the fact that they're trying to force this upon us with a deadline that won't meet the criteria. So we're objecting to that. Let's give us something that will work.
Okay. So does it approve it, we're supposed to decline the letter, or what?
Well, we have the right to comment.
Okay.
We have a right to comment on their proposed order. We're doing that, and we're pointing out through our consultants and the engineers that work for us, those areas where there are problems in trying to accomplish what they want to do. They have a couple of choices. They could just ignore us, which probably wouldn't be a good idea. They could find a way to supplement our cost of doing this business and perfecting the tests that are required, which would be a very good idea. But it's going to take some time, so we're suggesting that they need to take the time and do it right. Don't jump the gun and keep on just pulling the trigger all the time.
But we're pushing back at this point.
We're pushing back because what they're doing, and our engineers are telling us what they're doing, is not wholly correct.
Okay.
You don't need
Do you
anything
need a
from us?
motion?
No, just your approval.
Okay.
Approval to object.
Approval to object.
Yeah.
Object away. Next item on the agenda is Charter Communications shares to Town Council for review and sale.
We received, we've been doing this now for over a year, I believe. We sent them a letter, they sent us a piece of paper
Yeah.
with some sort of common shares that we hold that we're not aware of. We can't hold common shares as a town except through the town trustees. So we asked them what they're for. And what we got was nothing. Blank, no response, no information, no nothing. So I'm suggesting we send this to town council, and the town council figure out or get them to tell them what their fact these shares are for, how we acquired them, because we don't show any acquisition through town purchases or whatever. It could be just, it's because we subscribe to something that we get the shares automatically. But if they are, there's several hundreds of dollars worth of funds here that should be recouped to the town. And we should sell this and that money should go in the general fund.
Any idea when we received these?
Nope, none whatsoever. There's no paperwork at all. Just
The first one?
this is the second one, but it's exactly the same as the
Oh,
first
okay.
one.
We're unaware of these shares, but they tell us we have them.
That's correct. If they tell us we have them, they're worth this much money, I'd like the money.
There you go.
Our taxpayers can use it.
So I'll make a motion that we send this on to town council.
Second.
So I have a motion and a second to refer to town council. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
But the next thing is the investment policy. We don't want to invest our shares.
Next item on the agenda is annual review of the town investment policy.
There have been no changes to this policy during the prior year, sir. And we're required to review it every year by state regulation and statute, and we're giving it to you for further review if you can do that. We're not proposing any amendments, and no amendments have been made. We just want to comply with the statutory requirement.
But we don't have to do anything. Just say okay.
Not unless you want to amend something. We're not proposing that at this time. The
We
auditors have
still-
not proposed anything.
We still have to have a motion, correct?
Yes, sir, we do.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we approve the investment policy number 37.
I second that.
So I have a motion and a second to approve the investment policy. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda, water system development charge.
Mr. Chairman, you held a, shall I say, a somewhat lengthy hearing a number of months ago on this particular item. And because of the length of the agenda, we never got to do the vote, but you had the public hearing. No one voiced opposition to this. It is a way to raise funds for new water systems that are being added without adding it into the general fund. We're suggesting that the board vote this, since you've already held the public hearing and there was no objection to it. But that of course is up to you. You have not formally voted that at this point.
We should probably do that.
Yeah, we probably ought to.
I make a motion to accept the water system development charge as written.
I'll second that.
So I have a motion and a second to accept the water system development charge. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Do we have to sign this one?
Yes.
I got the top line too, it's big.
See if I loan you my pen.
My signature's like this big on
And
the page.
he'll charge you for it if he does.
Megan just prominent on there for sure.
Very supportive of the water system.
Yeah, wow, I see.
Next item on the agenda is Water System Sustainability Grant. We've been granted $19,500 for our water department operating budget. And it is and we have to match it. We have to match this grant with $19,500.
No, 9,500. It's a
Oh.
50-50.
95, okay,
Yeah.
9,500.
So it's just a half match.
Yes.
Okay. So I'll make a motion to accept this grant.
I'll second.
Yeah.
So I have a motion and a second to accept the grant. Any further discussion?
Yeah, what's it earmarked for?
It's water asset management it's a program that Andrew will go through, and it's an asset management program. So it's something that the town's done in the past. That's the extent of my knowledge of his project, but it's something that he needed to get done and funded.
It's a management type of
Yeah, it's an
thing where-
asset. Let me see if I've got.
Yeah, it's an asset management type situation, yes.
Water Systems Sustainability Grant is what we got. And
It says it's a strategic planning
Do you
grant.
want to vote on it tonight and have him send us a little markup that we can read for what's earmarked for?
Yeah,
Is
because
that
essentially,
okay?
if you don't vote on it
Yeah,
tonight,
we lose the
we'll-
cash. Yeah. Would you be comfortable?
But I can have Andrew give you a little rundown of what it does.
I think it'd be nice to know. I mean,
Just a summary of what he's using it
Yeah.
for? Yeah. That'd be good. I love reading that.
Okay, so all in favor,
would,
we have to vote on this tonight, correct?
Yes, because we have to send paperwork to the state.
We'll accept the funds and then we can
So
send it to your
all in,
mind.
all in favor of accepting the funds, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next part of this is we need to, I'll make the motion that Fred be the authorized agent for the town on this grant.
Yeah. Second.
So I have a motion and a second to make Fred the authorized agent. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Do we have any old business?
Yeah, just one thing.
we missed something here.
Just advise the board that I'm going to prepare for you a request to sell a piece of tax title property, which is located at One Hill Avenue and Mechanic Street. It's an old part of the mill. We've had it now for the required number of years, so all the money that's owed would come to the town when it's sold.
Nice.
The title is clear. There was a mortgage on the property, but the mortgage holder was notified and no action was taken, so the mortgage is null and void
Yeah.
at this point. We should sell this and put the money in the general fund. We can use it for the next tax rate. So I'm going to, there's quite a lengthy document that needs to be prepared so that we can go ahead and sell this property. I'm just advising you that I'm going to prepare that. We're going to, hopefully to your next meeting, if we can get it all done at one time.
And how
Just
are we
get
going
this-
to sell it?
Well, it has to be by sealed bid or public auction.
Okay, so
By
we haven't, and
statute.
you haven't determined that yet.
Right, no.
Yeah.
You know, I'll do the paperwork and you can make the determination.
Did we ever reach out to, was it North Country Council?
Oh,
Who
yeah.
was it?
That was gonna redevelop the mill. That,
Uh,
The development.
We've had several
Country Community.
telephone calls, but I haven't been able to catch the person. As a matter of fact, it's sitting on a huge note on my desk for tomorrow morning to go chase somebody.
great.
Okay.
That's a big one.
'Cause
It is a big one, it's a lot of money.
they'll be interested in that.
Yeah,
Yep.
they will be.
Okay,
Potentially, it's $1 million grant.
yeah. Okay. Any further old business? Any selectmen's items? I'll need a motion to go into non-public session, RSA 91-A:3.
Make a motion to go into non-public, RSA
91A.
91A,
:3.
colon 3,
See.
C.
Second.
have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
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 I don't know why I even started that one.